Folks, BetOnline is your number one source for all your sports betting needs this season. From baseball, golf, soccer, right to all the top fights in the UFC and MMA and boxing. Every stat, every matchup, and even live odds and spreads while the games are being played. When the game's over, head on over to the online casino and get in on a game of blackjack or poker, or unwind with one of over 150 slots games. Head to the website today to get in on the action. Use promo code BLEAV, BLEAV, for your 50% free bet credit on your first deposit up to $250. Bet online. The game starts here. Enjoy the show. Folks, we're back up. We're back. Oh yeah, oh yeah. There's some stuff I've been wanting to talk about, like the Mets' good luck charm being the goddamn McDonald's grimace, and a Limp Bizkit marriage proposal during break stuff. But ultimately, we got too much dang hockey to discuss at the end of the day. There's just so much to discuss because it's been a while, as they might say, and we haven't talked in a little bit, certainly haven't talked with Ryan Quigley. We've had some great fill-in hosts, Italian Joe and Maddie, and that was a lot of fun. But we got to talk to the Quigster. The Quigster is back. He has moved into the city of brotherly love. He is here in Philly. Welcome to the madness that is Philadelphia, Ryan Quigley.
It is good to be here, Steve. It has been a minute. And by a minute, I mean a month. It's literally been like a month since we last did a pod together.
Yeah. And I didn't mean to take last week off, but it just kind of worked out like that because, like, I don't know. At the beginning of the week, I kind of threw out to the Slack, like, hey, anybody want to guest host? People were like, yeah, I could do it. But then nothing came together. And
yeah,
frankly, I already had a couple days off of work. And I'm like, yeah, I'm just going to take a week off.
It's fine. Yeah. It's not like the Flyers did anything.
No.
So
no.
It's whatever.
No.
But, yeah, no, coming to you live from the luxurious shores of Old Kensington.
Old Kensington. This motherfucker's in Fishtown, guys. He's in Fishtown.
Yeah, I'm essentially.
I've never heard Old Kensington in my life until you said it, and I'm like, you're in Fishtown.
Ye Old Kensington, yeah. So we're like, we're right there by Fishtown, No Libs area.
Some people also refer to parts of that area as Port Fishington, because that's where Fishtown and Port Richmond start to overlap.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, Port Fishington. Yeah, but I don't think that's your part. Your part I've always thought of firmly as Fishtown, but hey, if they're calling it Old Kensington, frankly, as long as you're not in the middle of current Kensington, I think you're good to go.
Well, listen, I hear real estate there is at an incredible price right now. So
the prices are good.
Yeah,
that's for sure.
I bet I could get a house for, pretty good deal there. So
at least by modern standards,
right,
which are still compared to like what our parents paid for homes, horrible.
Oh yeah, absolutely. But
I never look up what your parents paid for a home because it'll just make you insanely resentful.
Yeah, I think I remember what they paid, and it's like they're gonna make like over 150,000 more than what they paid for it, simply because of the market.
Yeah. I looked up what my parents paid for my childhood home, and I compared it to what I paid for my current home, and I'm like, well, fuck that. But
yeah, it's ridiculous.
That's is what it is right there. But
it is.
Before we get into it, well, I'm glad you're enjoying. I know you've had some great food already, and we're certainly going to have to get together. Maybe one day we can just take the mic to a bar
and see
if anybody yells at us.
Yeah, we honestly should. Just go there. Yeah, that'd be actually a really fun idea.
I'm into it. Or if there's any bars listening, and I know there aren't, but if there are, and they want to host us for a podcast of any sorts, we're always willing to drink some beers and host a podcast.
If you would like to pay us money and we will advertise an ad for you, hit us up.
Yeah,
we are available to take your money. So
I will take your beer as payment too, or free T-shirts.
No, I'll take money. Thank you.
I mean, money's good, but I'll take anything. Just give me stuff.
I would much rather have money than a beer.
Well, listen, I run you know the fueled by Duncan catchphrase. Well, I'm fueled by beer.
Yeah.
Craft beer
sense.
Specifically because I'm a big time snob, and that's what I am. But I don't apologize for who I am, being a beer snob. But that's me, folks. That's me. And I just wanted to say on a quick note about beer and hockey and such. Thank you to everybody who came out to the draft party. I haven't recorded since the draft party. I didn't even try to record at the draft party this year. And it's probably for the best because Bill and Kelly did enough recording for everybody in the entire Flyers fan base combined. Yeah. That just a marathon over there. I'm sitting there pounding craft beers from the bar, and Bill just does not stop podcasting. That was an impressive performance from the Matster over there, and that was great. But the party was awesome. There was just like an incredible crowd. Probably, I think that was the biggest we've had for a draft party. And granted, it was in combination with PHYL, but who gives a shit, man? People showed up to support the blogs and had a great time, drank some beers, watched the Flyers make some picks, We got together as a Flyers community, and it was a lot of fun.
Yeah, I was really, really bummed that we hadn't moved up like a week sooner because I really, really wanted to go to that draft party. But I'm glad that it was an awesome time. Seems like it was popping in there. I saw the videos, the photos. It was literally wall-to-wall human flesh. So that was really cool. Yeah. So I just made it sound really gross, but like it sounds like it was an awesome time.
Just a massive humanity. Just
yeah.
Ugh. Yeah, no, I could move a little bit. I can maneuver. It was it was good. And I wanted to give a quick shout out to the guy who took every last magnet and sticker that we had and came back for more. I don't quite understand what was going there. The guy asked for more magnets and stickers and said, "I got kids." And I'm like, okay.
Wait, so you spoke to the man?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Oh, no. I thought this was a mystery person who just kept stealing. Like while no one was looking, they kept stealing all the.
I don't know who he was. Well, that made it more inexplicable that I spoke to the guy and he kept doing it. And like he asked me if I had any more, and I'm like, I don't. I put out the last of my Our Friend the Rat magnets. And he said, "I got kids," and I'm like, what are they doing?
What is that supposed to mean? What are you doing with these? What are you doing with these stickers and why do your kids and why do you need so many of them?
Right, like,
I mean, listen, good for you. I'm glad that you're consuming our product, dude. Like, keep on listening. We love the listenership. Who knows if does this person even listen?
I assume he doesn't.
I mean, yeah, if he listens, then that's awesome. Like, if
he listens, shout out, man. Email me at flyperbole@gmail.com.
We'll give you all of them.
I want to know. He took all of them. They're all. I have to order more because he took all of them. But email me and let me know what you're doing with them because I have no earthly clue, and I've been trying to figure it out ever since. So my top 3 theories right now. Number 1, arts and crafts, obviously, because there's no way those magnets are not very powerful. You're probably not sticking a lot of stuff on the fridge.
Yeah.
With those magnets, so maybe some arts and crafts. Who knows? Number 2, maybe he thinks if he gets enough of them, he can erase a police database on something. I don't know what the misdemeanor is, but yeah, maybe if he gets enough Our Friend the Rat and Broad Street Hockey magnets, he can figure something out. And then, of course, the last theory, which is the most unconventional, but anything's up in the air at this point. Was he making magnet soup? What's he cooking? I need to know.
It could. Well, first things first, I didn't know that we had a My Friend the Rat sticker or magnet. Big news.
Yeah, I had a lot, and now
they're gone.
Now they're gone. I'll have to order more. I intend to order more, and I also want to start printing some stickers with the Spotify QR code. So that's going to come at some point. Yeah. That'll come at some point, and hopefully I will start just plastering them on every light pole I can find in the city.
Do it. Yeah, I love that. But yeah, whoever this man is, I mean, either why or thanks for the support. I don't know which one.
I feel like it's a little bit of column A, a little bit of column B, but
could be.
I'm not quite sure, but yeah, I would love to know. Also, shout out, I had some great interactions with listeners while I was working over at the raffle merch table, just helping people like find what they want and stuff. We had some really cool raffle prizes. We had some signed stuff by players. I know there was like signed pucks and mini helmets. Somebody got a Matvei Michkov jersey, which is super cool. I'm trying to think what else we had. The coolest thing we had, there was a brick from the Spectrum signed by Bobby Clark, which was fantastic.
That is cool. Yeah.
And I know a listener of the show won that, which was very cool because I was chatting with that guy and we had a great conversation. My favorite interaction of the entire night was the guy who came over and I think he bought 20 raffle tickets, but he didn't actually care about using any of them. He just wanted to help support, the cause, Snyder Hockey and everything, which was super cool. And when he bought them, he gave me half of them and said, "This is for Flavortown."
Oh, I love that.
That was fantastic. That made my night. Like I told Emily about that as soon as I got in. She thought that was really cool.
That is clutch behavior by that guy. Good for him. What a gem of a person that is. That's amazing.
Absolute gem. The Flypaniacs are the best. I love them. I know it's not the biggest army of fanatics out there, but you know what? They're my guys. They're our guys, and we love them.
We do. Yeah.
We love them. But yeah, it was a great turnout. I love talking with listeners whenever I can. It's a great experience, and hopefully we can get together a few times this season to watch some Flyers hockey. I don't know. I'm very lazy. I don't know how to really organize a viewing party, but I would like to at some point. Maybe we'll just plan a night to show up at a bar, and we'll just tell everybody the bar, and let's just go.
Well, Steve, it's funny that you bring that up because I was thinking about this literally today about how I feel like we should do a Broad Street Hockey watch party at some point this season, just for a game.
I think we should do a couple.
Just a regular season game. And you know what I'm thinking?
What's that?
I'm thinking Flyers, Ducks. January. It'll be the return of the William.
Now the problem with that game though is a lot of people from the blog are going to be there, and maybe a lot of the listeners.
I'm talking the one in Anaheim.
Oh, okay. You said the return, so that's
I guess what I mean is like the first game.
That could be fun.
I think they play in Anaheim first.
They definitely play in Anaheim first, yeah.
So I think that would be a really fun watch party because like no one's going to be there.
Right. I mean, there could be some people. I mean, Flyers fans are known to travel quite a bit.
Right.
Let's see. And that was, I think, something that happened while we were away.
December 28th.
That might be Festivus is the 23rd, which is Pittsburgh.
December 28th on a Saturday.
That could be 2 watch parties in a week then.
At 4 p.m.
I mean, hey, man, I'm always down to go to a bar at 4 p.m. on a Saturday. You twist my arm on that.
Yeah. So it's an option. It's something we could do if we wanted. So
we could do that. But yeah, I'd like to do a couple throughout the season. I think it's always a fun time. And yeah, I'd love to boo mild Bill Gauthier wherever we can.
It's something that just has to be done this season, so we might as well do it together, right? We can't do it in person in front of him. We might as well get together and do it from afar.
I have a feeling there are going to be a fair share of Flyers fans who show up to do it in person.
Oh, there will be. There absolutely will be. Yeah. Like, I don't doubt it.
If you have an excuse to take a trip to California in December, you take it.
Yeah. You get the hell out of here. You get to California, and you'll have a fun time watching hockey and booing William Gauthier. It's like,
if I had the money, I'd do it in a heartbeat.
Yeah. No, you should. I mean, it's just, you can't really go wrong with that trip. So, but yeah, no, I think that would be a good candidate, Steve, for a little watch party here.
That might be a good unofficial one because we do have an official one that week that will happen.
Double dip, baby. Double dip. Let's do it.
Ooh.
Let's get another one going.
Living on the edge.
Also, apologies in advance if I'm seeming a little kind of not totally there this episode. I'm so exhausted from moving. So I'm like kind of still catching my wind back. But
well, you moved
I'm here,
and
so
the temperature hasn't really dropped below like 75 in like a month at this point. So
dude, it sucks.
It sucks. I mean, the real feel is consistently in the triple digits right now. My air conditioner's just saying, fuck you, Steve. It's just terrible.
It is not a good time right now. Like, we want to go out and explore the city, but we can't really do, like, we have done some exploring, but like we can't do a ton of exploring because it's so goddamn hot. Like, it would be dumb to like leave our homes.
It's a walkable city. There's a lot of places you can easily walk to.
Yeah.
But when you're sweating your ass off because the humidity is just abysmal.
You don't want to walk.
No, dude, I don't want to walk anywhere. And I walk everywhere. I barely left my house. I actually didn't go to one of my good friends' barbecues over the weekend because we were just like, no, it sucks. We're just going to sit inside. And I did homework, which is, I think, the lamest thing you could do instead of going to a barbecue.
That is some nerd shit right there, Steve.
Dude, I grad school is just, it's something else.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
total nerd shit. I'm almost done this class though. Just 6 more to go from
there.
Here.
You go. You're almost there.
You know what was great, by the way, before we get into the hockey? I did a group project and we all had to record a video section. And I matched the tone and the pace of everybody else on my team because, like, I don't know, I felt like we had to go like a minute, and you know how fast I can speak sometimes. So like I was running through it with my usual podcast tone, and I was doing it in like 30 seconds, and the rest of my group took like a minute and a half. So I really slowed down my speech significantly. And then the teacher wrote on the notes, it was okay, a little boring. And I just thought that was hysterical. Yeah. I got fucking toasted by the teacher. But hey, guess what? I got that A, baby. Who cares?
Yeah, who gives a shit?
It can be boring all you want. I got the A. That's all I care about.
I truly don't remember what it feels like to get an A on an assignment for a couple of reasons. One, because it has been so long, and two, because I'm not sure it ever happened. So
yeah, I've already gotten A's in 2 courses. I'll have you know, because I am very smart, and that's not it. I don't know. I got lucky on 2, and one of them I barely escaped with by the skin of my teeth, whatever that expression is. And this current one, I'm doing okay. It's almost done. Last week for this one, I get a month off, which will be pretty much our highest nonsense content to come out over the next month. So it should be
listen, I mean, you made the grade. And you made the grade. And Steve, I got to ask you, did the Flyers' first round pick in this year's draft make the grade for you?
Oh, good transition there, my friend. And yes, let's get into it. And I truly, I don't know. The initial impression was, what the fuck? But
yeah,
it was, dude, it was honestly hysterical at the draft party. It wasn't as funny. The funniest draft party moment, in my opinion, is the Cole Caulfield fake
the
out.
Cam York call. Yeah.
Yeah. Because the first time when they traded back, people were like, oh, they were disappointed. And then the second time, they said from Team USA, or they said the American, and they started with a C name, and everybody's like, oh my God, they got Cole Caulfield. And they got Cam York, and everybody was just gutted. And it was honestly very funny. This time was interesting because the rumors around the Flyers were that Danny B wanted to move up. He wanted to move up bad. He specifically wanted to move up into the top 5 if he could. And clearly he had his eye on somebody. And he didn't move up. And a lot of the names that we really wanted, the names we've been talking about coming into this, went off the board before the Flyers even had close to a chance to get them. So when it came to the Flyers at 12, they had some names up there that we expected, but they decided to move back. They traded with the Wild to move back to 13. And then we were like, all right, who are they going to pick here? Is it going to, I think Hellenius was a lot of the thoughts on our mind.
Yeah.
Zeev was a big one. What's the official pronunciation?
Zeev Buium. So
Buium.
Zeev Buium was the one that a lot of people are going to be angry. Like, for years and years, there's going to be comparisons between Jett Luchanko and Zeev Buium, because the Flyers had the opportunity to get Zeev Buium, who by all accounts was like considered by many as like the top defenseman in the draft. Like some people thought he was the best defenseman. Some like he was regarded widely as like the one or two best defensemen in the draft. And the Flyers could have gotten him and they didn't. And I think what drove a lot of people crazy was how after night one of the draft, Danny Briere basically came out and said like, yeah, we really like Zeev Buium, but like we already have a lot of like, you know, smaller defensemen in our pipeline. And, you know, that like he kind of said that that's like the reason why they didn't do it. And it makes me wonder, like, is that the reason why? Like, is it?
I don't believe him for a second.
I don't know, because that's I don't know. That's an interesting thing.
I feel like if he was truly, they felt strongly that he was the best player available, they would have taken him.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I feel like there was a reason he fell. I have no idea what that reason was, but I feel like there was a reason he fell.
Well, we have heard, like, and I don't know any information, but like there has been like talks, and you've heard about it on like 32 Thoughts and stuff like that, about how some teams are a little nervous about, ironically, U.S. players now, not Russian players, U.S. players, because these college kids, they come at kind of like William Gauthier, they come out and they have this notion of just like, oh, well, I can just like basically bully my way out of the team that drafts me if I don't want to play for them and play for the team that I do want to play for. And we saw it happen with William Gauthier. We saw it happen with Adam Fox. He was drafted by the Flames, or was it the Hurricanes? I think it was the Flames. And then he got traded to the Hurricanes, and then they traded him to the Rangers because he wasn't going to play for them either. And it's just like it seems like this happens a lot with, or more, I shouldn't say a lot, but like more frequently with
it's happening
college players.
More. Yeah.
Yeah. So like, and it's funny because like a lot of people were saying, oh, is Demidov going to slip in the draft? And he like did not at all. Like he went
second.
So like, it's just funny that
Demidov, like, who went second? Was it? I'm trying to remember. Let me get the draft. I should probably have this in my notes. I just had the Flyers.
It was the Russian, defenseman, I believe. I might be wrong. I'm probably wrong. But regardless, Levshinov, I feel like it was Levshinov.
Yes.
Yeah.
Chicago.
Yeah. But yeah. So like, it's just funny that like for years people were like, oh, stay away from the Russians. They might not come over here because, you know, Russia and the war and blah, blah, blah. And ever since this whole, honestly, I think the Flyers have kind of proven that like, that worry's overblown a little bit. And now it seems like some general managers are nervous about like drafting these college kids because they're afraid that are they even going to sign with us? Are they even going to play a game with us? I'm not saying that that's exactly what was going on with Zeev Buium, but like it is a little weird. You know? And like,
isn't Zeev Buium represented by the same person as Bill Gauthier?
Yes, he is. So like, yeah. I don't know.
And
how
who
much, knows?
I'm
not going to sit here and say that is the reason why the Flyers passed on him because I don't know that. But like, it's interesting, Steve. It's real interesting.
It's interesting because what's interesting to me also is that that's a guy that we kind of expected to go pretty early in the draft because he does have a lot of skill. And Demidov, by the way, went at 5 to the Canadiens, which is funny just because at 5 they had a chance to pick a Russian again, and this time they actually said, we're going to do it.
They did it this time, yeah.
Yeah, they decided to go with a dynamic player there, so good on them, I guess. But yeah, Zeev Buium ended up going to the Minnesota Wild at 12, and the Flyers, you know, they clearly didn't want him because they would have just taken him at 12 if they wanted him. I would love to know, I feel like this is something we're going to find out about like 10 years down the line in some sort of like tell-all column, you know, like something that we'll just hear like later and we'll go, oh, that's the real story. Like when Eric Lindros came out later and said that he was opposed to the Quebec Nordiques owner. Like he had issues with the Nordiques owner, which is why he refused to play for them. When at the time, everybody just assumed he was like entitled and he had problems with Quebec itself, blah, blah, blah. Yeah. Who knows what the truth is?
Or like how after the Nolan Patrick situation, like kind of, you know, went the way that it did, Bobby Clark comes out of the woodwork and he's just like, well, we didn't even want him anyway. We wanted Miro Heiskanen. And it's just like, yeah, it's just, and you don't hear about that till years later. And it all is so convenient that it's all in such hindsight. But sometimes it's, sometimes it's legit. And, it'll be interesting to hear about it. So.
Yeah, but I guess the other thing that was confusing to people was that they didn't go with Hellenius there, because Hellenius was a guy that really was consistently in the top 12. Hellenius ended up going to the Sabres at 14. So the Flyers decided Jett Luchanko was their guy. It was not a name we were expecting. And it was so funny with the build-up to it, because Michael Buffer, the boxing announcing legend, announced the pick. And it took forever, but it was great because it was Michael Buffer, who's just got one of the greatest voices of all time. Let's get ready to rumble! It was fantastic. All great build-up. And then I was watching Joe specifically because Joe really knew his stuff with this draft and was very attached to certain picks. And Joe looked like a bomb had been set off in front of him. Like, he just looked so distraught when Buffer said Jett Luchanko. Like, it was a very funny reaction, frankly.
It's an interesting kind of situation here because I like Jett Luchanko.
It's a great name.
Well, I mean, yes, it is a great name, but I think he's a good player. Like, I think he's a really good player. I think he has the potential to be a very good NHL player one day. My issue with the pick is not the player. It's when the player was taken is the issue. Like, picking him at 13, listen, I mean, you've heard rumors about, he may have been, a lot of teams may have been targeting him in the teens and like they wanted to get him before everyone else did. But like that, I don't know. I don't know if there were that many teams obsessed with Jett Luchanko. So I don't know. This is something like people are all up in arms about this pick. People are already calling him a bust, that drives me insane. Like, dude, I hate it when people do that. Like,
come on.
We're not going to know how this pick will be for 5 years. Like, we cannot evaluate this pick for close to half a decade, if not significantly longer. We don't know how everything is going to go for Buyam. We don't know how everything's going to go for Luchanko. Luchanko could turn out to be like a really, really, really good player for the Flyers. To what extent, I don't know. I don't want to speculate. He's literally 17. He's not even an 18-year-old. But like, it's interesting. It's a really interesting pick. But if we're going to talk about the positives here, like, we can talk all day about, he shouldn't have been picked as early as he was, but let's look at the player himself. He does bring a really exciting, some exciting skill to the table. Like, he's an incredibly good playmaker, and let's not overlook, and this is kind of his calling card, and it won't be overlooked, but like, his speed is crazy. Like,
that's what
really,
this team
really
needs,
good.
dude. We need speed so bad.
Yeah. We've been talking about it for so long, about how the Flyers need to be faster. And it's just, I mean, how can you not be fast with a name like Jett? I mean, it's kind of like mandatory for you. But
ironically, Jett skates like Mike Rathje.
Yeah. I don't know who Mike Rathje is.
Nor should you. Mike Rathje was one of the guys that the Flyers signed coming out of the lockout in the mid-aughts. And they signed Darian Hatcher and Mike Rathje, who were just like two massive human beings that basically were not for NHL 2.0, the new NHL. And they signed two dinosaurs, right?
Yeah.
And Mike Rathje is just one of the slowest, most lumbering defensemen in Flyers history. And he also got hurt, and the Flyers were playing his contract, it seems like, forever.
Yeah. Well, luckily that situation is a little bit different than this.
Yeah. But anyway, that's the slowest guy I could think of, which is why I brought him up. Jett Luchanko is supposed to be very fast. He's a small but speedy guy. I mean, small for NHL size. Like, he's 5'11". He's, average to slightly tall men height. He is not, a small guy, but by NHL standards, he's not big.
Yeah, but also keep in mind he's 17. Like there's a real possibility he could put on another inch, or like 2. Like I think I saw somewhere of this one prospect who grew like 3 inches in one summer, like when he was like after he was drafted. Crazy stuff. But overall, Jett Luchanko is an incredible skater, really, really good playmaker, which not a bad thing to have when you have a guy like Matvei Michkov on the team. So you're going to want to have people who can, find some open space and get him the puck. That's something that Jett Luchanko could probably do. And he's a center. So will he stay center when he comes to the NHL one day? I don't know. But
I hope so.
He does have that two-way pedigree in his game. He can play a good 200-foot game. So, there's a real possibility that he does stick at center. Will he be a top-line center? I can't say that he will be. I can't say that he definitely won't be.
The projections, though, trend towards a middle 6 guy.
Right, which I understand. That seems to check out. But which
is fine. Yeah. Like, we were really hoping that we could come away with a 1C out of one of these drafts, but one of them decided to throw a fit for still unknown reasons, and,
Well, he's a winger anyway, so.
He's a winger anyway, fuck him.
Yeah.
But yeah, like, Luchanko, I'm hoping that he works out at center. I it's always nice to have reliable forward. The Flyers just have so many wings at this point. So many damn wings. And Luchanko already signed his ELC.
Love that. Love that for him. 17 years old. Already has his entry-level contract in the NHL. Pretty crazy.
Yeah. I mean, it seems like they're high on him. It seems like they feel really good about this pick. They're from he's from the London Knights too, right? Or no, he's from Gulf Storm, but he has some experience with London, right?
I believe he's a London boy.
A London boy. Oh, a London boy.
Yes. So... yeah, you know what? Like, again, just to kind of rehash everything we talked about. Am I a fan of where the Flyers took him? No, I don't think I'm not crazy about where they took him. But the player himself, I like him. I think he's a good player. And again, it's not the player that I dislike. It's just when he was taken, he has an opportunity to kind of make us all eat our own words and make us all look stupid. Kind of like how Oliver Bonk did. I remember people were not stoked about the Oliver Bonk pick last year.
No.
And now people are feeling pretty damn good about it.
So let me ask you this. If you were Danny Breeze, and I know you weren't as familiar with this draft as some of the past drafts, who would you have picked at either 12 or 13?
I mean, I would have taken Zibuya.
Yeah.
But there's
got to be a reason.
Between the Flyers passing on him and him falling like significantly in the draft, it makes me wonder, like, is there something going on there in terms of, like, does he have, this ulterior motive of, like, oh, I want to play for one team and one team only, or like were teams like concerned about will he sign with us or something like that?
Or did he have an attitude issue or something like that?
I don't know anything about an attitude issue with Zeev Buium. But
no, that's what I'm saying. Like, there's got to be something, because, like, I feel like the Flyers are also so personality based, and I feel like that's part of why Jett Luchanko was picked, because they really like a lot of the intangibles with him, a lot of the personality traits that he brings, and the compete level and such.
Yeah. So, I don't know. It's an interesting thing. Not totally sure, but, like, if I were the one calling the shots, yeah, I probably would have taken Zeev Buium. But, I am not the person calling the shots. So, we'll see.
Sure.
We'll see what happens. And again, this is something we will find. We're not going to find out if this is a good pick or not for, like, 5 years. So.
Oh, yeah. No, it's going to be a good long while. I mean, there's still picks that we're figuring out from years ago at this point.
Right. Exactly. So... like, we still don't know what Morgan Frost is.
I know.
Like, we
were just talking about this in the Slack yesterday, saying, like, do the Flyers really need to upgrade? Like, what's the deal? Like, some people, like Thomas said, for instance, that Morgan Frost is a perfectly good 2-line center. You're fine with him. But then other opinions, like, you can make an opinion either way, Mr. Up and Down like a toilet seat.
Exactly. So... yeah, it's something that we all just have to be patient about. I think a lot of people are just, like, really, antsy, and a lot of people just want to give their opinions right now.
Absolutely.
And, that we're not going to have an answer for this for quite a few years.
Well, especially with the Michkov news, and now Michkov is signed to ZLC, so that's added a level of antsiness to everybody, and that's super exciting. Like, we're all pumped that Michkov is signed to ZLC. Like, we knew he was coming before the party, but like, we didn't find out till afterwards that he signed to ZLC, and like, that makes it feel real.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, man, it's crazy how many moving parts there are with this team right now. It's funny.
It's
because,
exciting, to be honest.
They've done nothing this offseason, but they've done everything this offseason at the same time. Yeah. So it's weird.
So who was your biggest surprise as far as like who went before the Flyers picked? Like, who surprised you going as early as they did? Tisha Ginla going at 6 to Utah certainly was a big surprise.
I mean, I think for me, it would have to be the third. I believe it was the third overall pick, Beckett Seneca. Like, that was crazy.
Seneca. Well,
he was supposed to be a bit...
That he
was not supposed to go that early. Yeah, he was like blown away. Like, they showed it to him, and he was literally saying, "Oh my God, holy fuck!" Like, he was not ready to be selected that early.
Brucey over there was even surprised by it. You can hear the surprise in his voice. Like, dude, the Ducks made a meme out of his surprise face, and it's like, you're dunking on yourself for having a reach at number 3, right?
Yeah, but you know what? Like, they love the kid. They think he's great. Clearly, they think he's awesome. So,
especially to take him over Lindstrom, who it's rumored that's what Danny Briere was trying to get when he tried to get in the top 5. Was he was trying to get Caden Lindstrom? Right.
Yeah.
And Columbus turned down some good ass deals to keep that pick. So Columbus really wanted Caden Lindstrom.
Evidently so. So, yeah. No. I think if I had to pick one of the more surprising guys, I would say Beckett Seneca, definitely, because from what I remember, he was not supposed to go in the top 10. Like, he may have went like maybe 9 or 8 or something like that. Like, he
was projected to the Flyers on a lot of mock drafts.
Yeah, like, he was not supposed to go 3rd overall. I like audibly laughed when they picked him 3rd overall. That was just funny to me. So,
yeah.
But yeah, I'd say that's the big surprise from the first round.
Yeah, absolutely. And some of the other ones, Carter Yakimchuk was a guy that we saw in the Flyers range a lot. He went at 7 to Ottawa. But, based on a lot of what I heard about the Yak over there, not a total surprise. Sounds like a pretty solid player. Good size on him. Berkeley Catton was a guy we talked about a lot as being available for the Flyers. He got picked at 8 to Seattle. I know Thomas in particular was upset about that one. He was a big Berkeley guy. And... yeah, those were kind of the big names that went before the Flyers had a chance. So, weird draft, but I hope Jett's good. And then I guess the argument you could also make is if the Flyers already knew they were going to trade out of the first round, do they feel like, we'll just take our guy now and we'll just make that same trade we already had on the table?
Yeah, I mean, that's a good argument to make. I mean, I think...
They must have. They liked him enough to take him there because they had other options. Again, they could have taken Hellenius, who has a great pedigree. They could have taken Zeev. They could have taken Cole Iserman, who is a goal-scoring machine. They decided not to go with any of that, and then they traded. They must have not loved a lot of this draft either because they
did not. They
must have loved they must have loved like Caden Lindstrom and a couple other guys. And that was it because they traded with Edmonton and they took Edmonton's next year first round pick. And they're like, here, have this one.
There's a reason why they were trying to trade up because they had identified a player or players who they really, really liked. And they wanted to get to a spot in the draft where they knew that they could get one of those guys. And there's a reason why they've made so many trades to acquire picks in next year's draft. Like, they clearly think next year's draft is going to be much deeper, much higher, like a much better pool of talent. And they just kind of wanted to, kind of focus on that one because it just seems like this year's draft, it wasn't a deep class, like, at all. Next year's class is going to be a bit deeper. And it seems like they're confident that they can, that is where they might be able to find the future of the franchise, like other than Michkov, of course. So, I think that had a lot to do with it. is that they weren't crazy about this draft class, and they identified the guy who at 13 they thought would make the most sense for them and who they really liked. And I do want to state again, like, the fact that Jett Luchanko is legitimately like one of the younger players in the draft, like it is impressive what he did. Like at 17, being as young as he is and averaging over a point per game, I mean, that's really on a horrible team, by the way. Like Guelphs is awful, like terrible. They're like an awful team in the OHL. So like he was a standout for them, over a point per game player. That's really impressive for a 17-year-old to do. So, yeah, maybe they're banking on him kind of like coming in next season, just tearing up the OHL. That would be really cool, but that's also like, it's a slippery slope when you're kind of like hoping for someone to take that next step, as opposed to saying like, oh, this guy has actually done this. Let's see what he does next. You know what I mean? So, yeah. So I don't know, but like
they saw something, and there's clearly something they see potential wise, because I don't think they make this pick unless they're confident in it. And
well, they're very confident in him. I definitely think they're I think they like the player.
This is an interesting test of the drafting skills of Danny Briere. And listen, we talk about this all the time, where you go like, well, why didn't we draft this guy when he was available? You say this in retrospect, right? Like, why didn't every team in the league draft PK Subban? Why didn't every team in the league draft Nikita Kucherov? You know, like there are guys that fall down.
Right.
So maybe he found a true like diamond in the rough. And like, again, Bonk is a great example where Bonk was really not like an exciting pick, who then has just rocketed up, and now the expectation's very high for Bonk, where, you know, it's kind of a bummer that Bonk probably won't make the team this year, because it almost seems like he could.
Yeah, no, I think he definitely could. I don't think it would make sense for him to make the team this year, because I don't think he would play much. But
no, he wouldn't play. But, you know, like the thing is, like, it's almost a shame that they don't have a slot for him, because I think he could, and I think he'd be good.
Yeah. But I don't think it's like the worst thing in the world that he'll be going back, you know?
No, I don't think it's bad at all. It's just like, it's almost a shame, just because I am now excited for this guy, where I was not excited at this time last year for Oliver Bonk. Not at all.
Right.
I'm super pumped for him now.
You know, people, when they drafted Oliver Bonk, people were like, what? Like, why did they pick Oliver Bonk here? Like, people thought Oliver Bonk was a reach, and now no one thinks that. Like, people think that he could have, I think there was an argument that he could have gone even, you know, significantly higher than where he was taken last year, had teams known what he was going to do last season. So, it's just, the draft it's a lottery, Steve. Like, we talk about the draft lottery all the time. It's for the first pick. The whole draft is a lottery. If you get lucky and you get the right guy at the right time, then, like, that has the potential to change your franchise forever.
And again, like, sometimes you can even have what seems like a sure thing in Nolan Patrick, and it doesn't work out, you know? Mm-hmm. And that's, I think, how we have to start thinking about Nolan Patrick, is you picked the best available player with the information you had at the time, and it didn't work out. That's all. You know, is it shitty luck that every other guy in that top 6 was a stud? Yeah, it's very shitty luck, but that's just how the cookie crumbles sometimes. Sometimes you pick Mike Ricci instead of Jaromir Jagr.
Yeah, no, it's true. And then sometimes you sign an undrafted free agent, and then it turns out to be, who's a good undrafted free agent that I was about to say Joe Pavelski, but he wasn't an undrafted free agent, so now I'm like blanking.
All the undrafted free agents I can think of are like Matt Reed, who had a couple great years, and then a bunch of middling, and then a bunch of shitty.
Oh,
or like
I know
Michael
one.
Raffle.
Sergei Bobrovsky.
Bobrovsky. Yeah, Stanley Cup champion Sergei Bobrovsky.
Potential future Hall of Fame goalie. So, like, yeah.
Isn't that wild? I hope Paul Holmgren is getting just the worst sleep.
He probably is getting very great sleep, to be honest.
Yeah. I sleep on a big bag. I sleep on a bunch of money. Great.
Yeah.
Better money. Yeah, that's great. Any of these other picks that are intriguing to you? I could just run them down if you're not sure about any of them offhand, because I don't know shit.
Yeah, the one that I really liked was Spencer Gill. I thought that was a really good pick in the 3rd round. Or was that the second? I forget. I think they actually traded up and they got him in the 2nd round. Yeah, because they traded up.
Pick 59.
Yeah, so I like Spencer Gill. I like where he was taken. He is a bigger guy, 6'4", but he's like he like doesn't have muscle like at all. I don't know if he can do a pull up. So like he's like tiny in terms of width, but in terms of height, he's very big. So he needs to fill out his body a lot more with muscle, like considerably. And he's
the weights, kid.
He's a long-term project, but like I really, really liked what they got with him because last season he was playing for, the old stomping ground team of another former Flyer who was also a big, large defenseman in Sam Moran. Oh, wow. He played for Rimouski, Oceanic of the Q. And so last year he had 12 goals and 46 points in 65 games. And for a player that size, that's pretty cool. Like, it's good to see like a bigger defenseman being, like creative offensively and like chipping in and being a reliable, semi-reliable point producer. So yeah, I think I really like the Spencer Guild pick. I think defensively he's got some work to do, especially just because he's so weak. Like, he's not strong. I think he has some serious work to do in the gym and just like filling out his body. And once he does that, maybe he'll get better, a little better defensively. And this isn't to say that he's like, horrendous or defensively. I think for what he is, I think he's okay. But like if he wants to make it in the NHL, he really, really needs to kind of round out his defensive game. And I think he needs to just add a ton of weight. And I think he could. That's kind of the point. So I think he'll be all right.
You hear that, Spencer Gill? Ryan Quickly's got one question for you, brother. Do you even lift, bro?
You even lift?
Do you even lift?
Do you even go to the gym?
He doesn't. Spencer Jimmy McGill.
He's not like Charlie O'Connor. He doesn't go to the gym.
No. Charlie O'Connor lives at the gym while Bill Matz is doing 24-hour podcasting over there.
Oh yeah. But they both have incredible stamina, and I don't know how they do it.
Dude, I legitimately want to know how Bill did that marathon because that was insane to me. Like I have nothing but admiration for Bill for doing that. Like, believe me, I would do some goddamn marathons with Craig, but we would talk about just the biggest pile of nonsense for a while. That man is doing like full on hockey pod.
Right. Yeah.
For the entirety of the draft. Like, nothing but props over there. Unbelievable. Let's run down some of these other picks. There was Jack Berglund, his center. He went at pick 51. Heikki Ruohonen. It's probably not right, but who cares? Center went at 107. Noah Powell, wing, went at 148. Ilya Poltov, right wing, went at 173. And Austin Moline, right-handed defenseman, went at 205, or right-side defenseman.
One thing... Austin... Wait, say that again? Austin Moline?
Austin Moline. I think it's... I have RHD. I think that means right-handed defenseman,
okay.
But, Listen, I'm not here for my draft analysis, folks, okay? I could talk a little bit, but this is not my forte.
If there's one thing to, I guess, kind of keep in mind is, like, what is consistent among the Flyers' 4 picks is that 3 of them were centers. They really, really, really wanted to bolster their center depth in the pipeline. And, I think that's another complaint that people are going to have is that, like, the Flyers have made it very clear that they want to get stronger down the middle of the ice. And then they go out and they immediately draft 3 centers in their first 4 picks. And I feel like a lot of people are going to say, why didn't you take the best player available? That's stupid. You're drafting for need. That's never going to work. It never does work. And, like, that's a valid criticism, especially the Jack Berglund pick. I'm not crazy about that pick at all. But, like, it does address this need that the Flyers think they have. And, I guess they're kind of hoping to kind of nab these, all these young centers and hope that one of them sticks as like a legitimate NHL player.
Got to catch them all.
Yeah, it's true.
It's how you live your life, by that motto.
Oh, yeah.
Well, we'll see how the draft picks work out. Let's talk about something I can talk a little bit more about, and that's free agency. And, folks, spoiler alert, the Flyers didn't do shit.
I mean, they did shit.
They did shit, but, like,
not
as far
fun
as,
stuff.
Like, no, like, and the thing is, this is not the free agent class to do fun stuff with. This is like, there wasn't really anybody I would have swung for. I'm sure Paul Holmgren back in the day would have loved to have gone in the Steven Stamkos sweepstakes there, but that's not what this team needs right now. And thank God that Paul Holmgren's not in charge to make that kind of move.
Yeah, no, I mean, listen, that that could have been disastrous.
I'm thinking of Vinny LeCavalier all over again.
Yeah, but listen, you know what they did do is they didn't go out, they literally did not bring in a single outsider except for one Matvei Michkov, and that is a huge, huge ad. Like, that's the reason you watch the Flyers next season. Like, I'll be like, the Flyers cannot make the playoffs next year. Won't matter.
It can.
Well,
it
like,
won't matter.
Well, yeah. What I'm saying is, like, they might not make the playoffs next year. There's a good chance they don't, and that no one will care because Matvei Michkov is a Flyer, and they want to watch Matvei Michkov.
As long as Matvei rocks it out, dude, that's all I care about. I just want to see him, and I don't even need to see him be a stud this first year. Believe me, I'd really like if he was, but I just need to see those raw skills. I gotta see that in person, and I'm just so excited.
So that's something I actually want to address real fast. I recently wrote a story for BroadStreetHockey.com. Please like and subscribe.
Please.
Basically, I went ahead and I looked back at the history of like some of the most prolific U20 KHL players to come out of the KHL since that league was created in 2008. And so I looked at players like, Kirill Kaprizov and Artemi Panarin and Pavel Buchnevich and stuff like that. And I kind of gauged like where their statistics, how they compared to Michkov's when they were 19 years old. Because Michkov, of course, is coming off an incredibly productive 19-year-old KHL season. So only one player has ever scored more points than Matvei Michkov, and that was Kirill Kaprizov. He did that when he was 19 years old. He had 42 points in 49 games. Michkov had 41. So very, very close. I feel like a lot of people are expecting Michkov to come over to the Flyers and immediately be like Kaprizov or Panarin.
Okay.
Because both of those guys came into the NHL and they were
but wasn't
amazing.
Panarin like 30
They were
years
amazing
old?
right off the bat. That's the thing, is that people need to remember that Kirill Kaprizov and Artemi Panarin were not normal rookies. They were old. Kirill Kaprizov was 23, and then Panarin was 24. So, like, they are not average rookies. Michkov is going to be 19 when he makes his NHL debut. He's a teenager still. So, give him a little bit of leash here. Don't expect him to come in and immediately put up 70 points because
you're insane if you think that.
Could he do that? Yes, he could. It's possible that he could do that. What are the odds he does that? Probably not high, and that's normal. That's okay. Like, that's just a normal path. Because when you look at guys like Evgeny Kuznetsov, who became a 70-point player and was a very, very good player for a long time, still is, I guess you could say. He's kind of going through a weird situation right now. But, his rookie year, he only had 37 points in 80 games. Like, not exactly super productive. And then you look at someone like Vladimir Tarasenko. He came in 19 points, 38 games. Just don't expect there to be a ton of production from him immediately. Don't expect him to lead the team in scoring or anything like that. Again, it's possible that he could, but it's not exactly likely. Even the mighty Nikita Kucherov, when he came into the NHL, 18 points in 52 games as a rookie when he was 20. So there might be some growing pains for Matvei Michkov, which would make sense because he's a 19-year-old child and he is coming to a new continent. He's learning a new language, new team, new league, everything. Everything about it is new. There's going to be an adjustment period. This is not to say, don't be excited about Michkov. Absolutely be excited about him. And whenever he does anything cool, you lose your shit. That you absolutely should do that. But just don't go into the season being disillusioned into thinking, oh, we got our 75-point guy. He's going to lead the team in scoring this year. We are set. I think eventually he will be that guy. But don't be surprised if this season he's not that guy. And that's fine because, it's normal for him to not be the guy at 19 years old.
I can tell you off the bat, I don't expect him to be on the first line for a while, especially with John Tortorella as the coach.
Yeah. I mean, there's going to be. That's one of the things I'm most curious to see unfolding is like how it all works out between Michkov and Torts. I would like to think that there won't be any drama between those two, but I don't think that's going to happen. I think there will be because
I think there might.
It's John Tortorella. It's John Tortorella. So that's just how it goes. For better or worse, it's John Tortorella.
Right. But I think, and this is something I've said before, I think Torts, of all people, understands how important this is for the franchise, how important this player is for the future of the Philadelphia Flyers. So if anybody has the memo not to screw this up, it's John Tortorella. And I'm sure Danny Briere and Keith Jones are going to be keeping a very, very close eye on all this.
Yeah. Oh, no. They will. Like, this is about much more than just like, you can't bench you cannot upset this kid. Like, no. Yeah, I know that you can't give a young player too much power, but like this is one where it's like, no, you have to. He is him. Like
you can coach, but maybe just don't go full Torts.
Don't go full Torts. Never go full Torts.
Never go full Torts. Now I have a popular betting application up right now, and there is a prop for Matvei Michkov regular season points. What do you think the over/under point is at?
I'll say 46.
Holy shit! It's 46.5.
No way, really?
Yeah, dude.
Wow, that's amazing. Okay.
Well done.
I'll be honest. I'll say if he can hit like 48 points, I'll be thrilled.
Oh, that's great for a season.
Yeah. If he can
especially with his age.
If he gets to 40-something points, that's amazing. Like, to be honest, I'm expecting like 30, 35 points, if I'm going to be totally honest. But like,
it's a lot of factors.
If he got to, yeah, there was a ton of factors. If he gets to 40, that is impeccable. Like, you should be very, very stoked if he gets to 40-something points.
But I'm going to tell everybody right now, your leading point scorer next season is still going to be Travis Konechny.
Yeah, it's not going to be Michkov. And I hope to be wrong. Like, so I say this all the time.
I can tell you with almost complete certainty it's going to be Travis Konechny.
I would love nothing more than to be totally wrong about this and for Michkov to have like 85 points as a rookie. That would be the best. I would love that. I just don't know how realistic it is. And listen, if Matvei Michkov is listening to Flyperbole right now and he's listening to me and he's like, this fucking Ryan Quigley is such an idiot, I'm going to show him. And then he goes and he scores 85. Bro, fucking do it. Do it. That would be so sweet.
I'll print up a series of like Ryan Quigley was wrong t-shirts if that happens.
That would be amazing. I would love it.
No, dude, we want nothing but for this guy to be the best in the NHL. Now, here is the big question. Does he outperform Celebrini this season?
No.
No, you think Celebrini's still he's the guy to beat for the Calder?
I think so, yeah.
I hope you're wrong.
It might not even be Celebrini either. It could be someone else. It could be like
there's some good names.
Yeah, so I don't know.
As long as it's not Gauthier, I'm fine with it. But
I don't know,
man. If it's Gauthier,
I'll be honest.
I'll be pissed.
I got a feeling it's gonna.
Well,
I know it's too early to call. We haven't even seen that dumb kid play in the NHL yet, but yeah, I don't know.
I just hope he's terrible. That's one thing I
do too. No, I mean it's I agree. He's just I don't know, man. I just that kid pisses me off.
It pisses me off. I just want to know why. Tell me why. Tell me why.
Ain't nothing but a heartache. Okay, there we go. Okay.
I'm into it. We'll just have some Backstreet Boys shirts that say "Tell me why" with Bill Gauthier's face. There we go. Okay, so. Matvei Michkov, we're all mad about Matvei, signed as ELC. Bobby Brink signed a 2-year, $3 million contract. Egor Zamula signed a 2-year, $3.4 million contract. Garnet Hathaway, Gary, as we like to call him around these parts, signed a 2-year, $4.8 million contract extension. And Erik Johnson came back for a 1-year, $1 million contract. Fire Danny Briere right now based on all that.
Yeah, well, one thing I will say is a lot of people got really mad about the Hathaway extension.
Hathaway and Erik Johnson. Why. People got really pissy about both of those.
Erik Johnson, who cares? Like, truly, who cares?
This
like,
guy is going to be eating
no
Flyer-shaped pretzels. He's basically a coach.
Erik Johnson is going to be making basically no money. He's a good veteran guy to have around, sure, like whatever. I'm completely fine with it. It does not in what way does this Erik Johnson signing impact the Flyers' plan at all? It doesn't. It literally doesn't. So like I have no problem with the Erik Johnson signing. The Garnet Hathaway one, I guess the question people are asking is like why? Like why did you do that? And I think the answer is he's good. Like Garnet Hathaway's a good player. Like he's a good player. Why not keep him around? You know, like, and I know a lot of people are going to say
bottom six guy.
Yeah, and I know a lot of people are going to say like, well, he's going to be, you know, in his mid to late 30s at the end of the contract and blah blah blah. And it's just like, dude, you know what? Like, but he's good right now. He's not going to be making so much money where it's like actually hurting your team. And by the time the Flyers are actually good enough to compete for a cup, that contract will be over. You know, like
right.
You might as well, if you got a good player and you have the opportunity to keep him around for cheap for 2 more. It's just 2 more years. Like you might as well do it. So I'm totally fine with Garnet Hathaway sticking around or getting that 2-year extension. He has 3 more years with the Flyers. Cool. He's been fun to watch. He's a good player. Like
he's a solid bottom six guy. I got no problem with it.
Yeah, people are like big mad about like them signing a good player.
This fan base is just so pissy sometimes, and it's just ridiculous. Like, I know we're all upset that the Flyers haven't contended for a while at this point, and that they haven't won a cup since 1975. We all fucking know it. But like, do we have to be miserable about every damn little thing? Can we just be excited about one thing?
It's almost as if like things have been going too smoothly, and now that like they're like the Jett Luchanko pick, that's when people started just getting mad. Like I saw people saying, "Oh, Denny Briere, fire Briere." I'm like,
"Oh my god!" I saw somebody say it was like the worst day, one of the worst days in Flyers history. I'm like, okay,
that's an idiot. Like people saying that are stupid as hell. So like,
it's insane. And believe me, I've seen a lot of bad days in Flyers history.
Things are just have been going so smoothly that people are like almost itching to just complain about something, and they're finding things to complain about, and they're making they're taking full advantage of it. So
yeah, and it's dude, it's not like they passed up the next Jaromir Jagr. You know, they didn't do anything like that. It was a friggin' mid first round pick. Okay, Chuck Fletcher gave that away for free for Rasmus Ristolainen.
Exactly. There's a lot worse things to get mad about. Like this, at least they made a pick here. You know. And let's be honest, you can say what you want about Jett Luchanko. Will he be a good NHL player one day? I don't know.
Who knows?
He will be an NHL player, though. And you know who wasn't an NHL player? Jay O'Brien. So let's like maybe chill out about like this pick and how he's a bust and this and that. We don't even know.
Like the guy who got pissed off at me earlier today because Bruce like peed on his dog at the dog park had more justification than this guy.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, like it's just like this over the top reactions. It's like, guys, it's the Flyers in July, and they're not expected to compete for another like 2 years. Can we just
watch the Phillies?
Just the Phillies are in first place. They're beating the shit out of the Dodgers. Let's enjoy something.
Yeah. Like don't.
We're getting ready for bird season. You know, we get to watch the Giants lose Saquon behind the scenes on HBO right now. Okay? Like, let's enjoy the little things.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, it's a lot of fun. Go Birds.
Keep everything into perspective. Pick your spots. Like, don't be needlessly angry if you don't.
Go to the beach.
Yeah.
Touch some sand. Shit the beach.
Nice. Shit the beach. Try it on the aisle.
Come on, guys. Like, just shit the beach already. All right, folks. Well, we got to get going. I want to talk about a whole bunch of free agency stuff, but guess what? That's what next week's show is for. We got to stretch this hockey content out as far as we possibly can. But it's good to be back. We're going to be regular again. Okay, nice and regular, drinking our coffee every day. We're good to go. But if you have any feedback for us, the best place still is, unfortunately, social media. Quigz, where can people find you on the socials?
Ooh, find me at Ryan Quigz with a Z.
Oh, wow. How about that? You can find me at Flyperbole or at SDBomb. If it's for hockey, make it Flyperbole. It's Flyperbole on Twitter/X. It's over on Blue Sky. It's over on Instagram. It's over on TikTok. It's over on Friendster. It's over on your moms. All right, find it all those places. All right, folks, we're going to get out of here. Thank you so much for listening. You're the best. Love the Flypaniacs. And until next time, in the words of the great Gene Hart, good night and good hockey. Wow, 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 wow. Wow, 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 wow. And one more time, thanks to our friends over at BetOnline for sponsoring the show. Be sure to use promo code BELIEVE.